Sears history. What happened to Sears? Remember the excitement of getting your first bike at Sears or flipping through the wish book? For generations, Sears symbolized the American dream. But now, its silent aisles and lost catalog evoke nostalgia instead of thrill. What went wrong? Join us as we explore the rise and fall of this retail giant, a cautionary tale of innovation and heartbreak. The beginnings of Sears. Let's rewind the clock and set our retail time machine for 1886. We find ourselves in North Redwood, Minnesota, where a young Richard Warren Sears is working a humdrum job as a station agent. Life takes an unexpected turn when a shipment of gold, watches, unwanted, and destined for who knows where, lands on his platform. Now, most folks would have seen just another day at the station, but Sears? He sees an opportunity, a chance to make something of himself. He buys the entire lot of watches, a bold move for a young man with limited means, and then flips them to other station agents for a small profit. This little venture sets something ablaze within him. He realizes he's got a knack for this business thing. Fueled by this newfound confidence, Sears takes a leap of faith. He quits his job and sets up shop in Minneapolis, selling watches through the then novel concept of mail order. A year later, he joins forces with a skilled watchmaker named Alva Roebuck, and together they form a partnership that will become a retail legend, Sears, Roebuck and Company. Now, you might be thinking, so they sold some watches by mail. What's the big deal? But this was no ordinary mail order business. Sears and Roebuck weren't just selling watches, they were selling convenience, accessibility, and a whole new way to shop. Their timing was impeccable, tapping into a growing desire among rural Americans for access to goods they couldn't find in their local general stores. What started as a simple watch business was about to blossom into a retail empire that would reshape the American landscape and redefine how we shop. The Sears Catalog. But hold on, because the story's about to get even more exciting. In 1893, a game-changing development sweeps across the nation. The government introduces rural free delivery. This may sound mundane, but for Sears, it's a stroke of genius. Imagine, suddenly, Sears can reach potential customers in the most far-flung corners of the country, places previously beyond the reach of their mail order operation. And they seize this opportunity with gusto. The Sears Catalog, once a humble pamphlet showcasing watches and jewelry, transforms into a colossal tome, bursting with an unimaginable array of goods. Let's step back in time and imagine you're a farmer's wife in 1900. Your nearest store is a long, arduous journey away. Then one day, this massive catalog arrives in your mailbox. As you flip through its pages, a whole world unfolds before your eyes. Sewing machines to lighten your workload, bicycles to shorten your errands, musical instruments to brighten your evenings, even prefabricated houses, all available with the stroke of a pen and a money order. The Sears Catalog becomes more than just a shopping guide. It's a portal to a world of possibilities, a wish book that brings dreams within reach. Children pore over the toy section, circling their heart's desires. Families gather around the catalog, debating the merits of different tools or home furnishings. It's a social event, a source of entertainment, and a connection to the wider world. In a way, the Sears Catalog was the Amazon of its day, the Netflix of its time, delivering convenience and entertainment straight to your doorstep long before the internet or television became commonplace. It revolutionized rural life and cemented Sears' place as a retail powerhouse, a company that understood the needs and desires of its customers in a way that no one else did. Sears Kit Homes. But Sears' ambition didn't stop at filling your mailbox with enticing goods. They were constantly innovating, pushing the boundaries of what mail order could achieve. By 1908, they took a giant leap forward with a truly audacious offering, the Sears Kit Home. That's right, you could order an entire house from their catalog. Imagine that. All the lumber, nails, windows, doors, even the kitchen sink delivered right to your train station, along with detailed instructions for assembling your dream home. Over 70,000 of these kit homes were sold between 1908 and 1940, a testament to their popularity and affordability. They offered a pathway to homeownership for families who might not have otherwise been able to afford it. Sears wasn't just selling products, they were selling the American dream, packaged and delivered with remarkable efficiency. These kit homes dotted the landscape, becoming a symbol of Sears' ingenuity and their commitment to serving their customers' needs in truly innovative ways. They stand today as a reminder of a time when a company dared to think outside the box and revolutionized not just retail, but the very concept of homeownership. Sears' willingness to embrace new ideas and cater to the evolving needs of their customers would continue to drive their success for decades to come. The first retail store. Let's zip forward in our retail time machine to 1925. Sears has been the undisputed king of mail order for decades, but the winds of change are blowing. America is urbanizing, cars are becoming increasingly common, and consumer habits are evolving. Sensing a shift in the landscape, Sears makes a bold, some might say risky, move. On February 2nd, 1925, they open their very first retail store on Chicago's West Side. It's a gamble, a departure from their tried-and-true mail-order model, but it's a gamble that pays off handsomely. The store is an instant success, a bustling hub of activity that combines the vast selection of the catalog with the immediate gratification of in-person shopping. Customers can finally see and touch the products they've only dreamed about, experiencing them in a tangible way. This first store marks a pivotal moment in Sears' history, a turning point that sets the stage for a new era of expansion. Over the next few decades, Sears opens hundreds of retail stores across the country, becoming an integral part of communities from coast to coast. These stores become more than just places to shop. They're community gathering places, offering everything from appliances and clothing to auto repair and even photography studios. Sears, once a mail-order pioneer, has successfully transformed itself into a brick-and-mortar behemoth, demonstrating its remarkable adaptability and its ability to stay ahead of the curve. This transformation would propel them to even greater heights, solidifying their position as a retail giant for much of the 20th century. The Golden Age of Sears. Step into our retail time machine once again, and let's set the dial for the 1950s, the Golden Age of Sears. Imagine a bustling Main Street, USA, the heart of every town, and there it is, the iconic Sears sign, beckoning shoppers with its promise of quality and convenience. Sears isn't just a store, it's a destination, a one-stop shop for everything the American dream entails. As you step inside, you're greeted by a dazzling array of products, a symphony of colors and textures. The latest washing machines gleam alongside stylish clothing racks, power tools hum in anticipation, and the air is filled with the tantalizing scent of popcorn from the candy counter, mingling with the rich aroma of new leather from the shoe department. Children tug at their parents' sleeves, eyes wide with wonder at the captivating toy displays. It's more than just shopping. It's an experience, a family outing, a source of both excitement and comfort. But what truly set Sears apart wasn't just the sheer volume of goods they offered. It was the personalized customer service that made you feel like a valued guest, a member of the Sears family. Need a new refrigerator? The salesman isn't just there to make a quick sale. He takes the time to understand your needs, helping you find the perfect model for your family. And if, heaven forbid, something goes wrong with your purchase, No problem. Sears' legendary satisfaction guarantee has your back. This commitment to customer service built trust and loyalty, making Sears more than just a store. It was a trusted partner in building a better life for millions of Americans. The Sears of the 1950s was a retail powerhouse at its peak, a symbol of American prosperity and ingenuity. What's your most memorable experience with Sears? Share it with us in the comments. Craftsman, Kenmore, and DieHard. Now let's delve into the iconic brands that became synonymous with quality and reliability, brands that were built by Sears and etched into the fabric of American life. First up, Craftsman. These weren't just tools, they were a symbol of craftsmanship, a badge of honor for the DIY enthusiast. Fathers proudly passed down their well-worn Craftsman toolboxes to their sons, knowing that the lifetime guarantee meant these tools would outlast them both. Imagine this. You're working on a project, and your trusty Craftsman wrench snaps. No problem. You simply take it back to Sears, and they replace it. No questions asked. That's the kind of customer service that built unwavering loyalty. Then there was Kenmore, the backbone of the American household. These appliances weren't just functional, they were reliable workhorses, built to withstand the demands of everyday life. From washing machines that could tackle mountains of laundry to refrigerators that kept food fresh for a growing family, Kenmore was there, simplifying life for millions of Americans. And who could forget DieHard batteries, the powerhouses that lived up to their name? They started cars in the harshest conditions, from the frigid depths of winter to the scorching heat of summer. DieHard became so synonymous with reliability that the phrase, "It's gotta die hard," was enough to assure anyone that a vehicle was up to the task. These brands weren't just products, they were promises kept, a testament to Sears' commitment to quality and customer satisfaction. They embodied the values of durability, dependability, and trustworthiness that were at the core of Sears' identity. The Sears Wish Book. But perhaps the most enchanting chapter in Sears' story unfolded every autumn when the highly anticipated Sears Christmas Wish Book arrived in mailboxes across the nation. This wasn't just a catalog, it was a passport to a world of childhood dreams, a portal to the magic of the holiday season. Children would spend countless hours poring over its colorful pages, their imaginations running wild as they circled the toys that captured their hearts. Bicycles with gleaming chrome fenders, dolls with eyes that seemed to follow you, train sets that promised endless hours of fun. The Wish Book was a treasure trove of possibilities. Parents, too, would secretly study those circled items, making mental notes for Christmas morning surprises. The Wish Book wasn't just about selling products, it was about creating memories, fostering anticipation, and capturing the spirit of giving and receiving that defines the holidays. It was a shared experience that brought families together, sparking conversations and creating a sense of excitement that permeated the entire season. The Wish Book became a beloved tradition, a symbol of hope and joy that transcended the mere act of shopping. It represented the power of dreams, the anticipation of Christmas morning, and the enduring magic of childhood. Even as the retail landscape changed and evolved, the Wish Book remained a cherished part of the Sears legacy, a reminder of a time when a simple catalog could transport us to a world of wonder and possibility. Sears Tower. As Sears' empire expanded, so did their aspirations. In 1973, they unveiled a breathtaking symbol of their dominance, the Sears Tower in Chicago. This magnificent skyscraper, piercing the sky with its 110 stories, stood as the world's tallest building for a quarter of a century. It was a towering testament to Sears' success, an exclamation point on their reign over the American retail landscape. Imagine standing on its observation deck, gazing out at the sprawling cityscape. From that vantage point, you could see 4 states, a fitting metaphor for Sears' vast reach and influence across the nation. The Sears Tower became an iconic landmark, a symbol of American ingenuity and corporate ambition. It represented the pinnacle of Sears' achievements, a physical manifestation of their decades of success. But even as the Sears Tower stood tall, the retail landscape was undergoing a seismic shift. New competitors were emerging, consumer preferences were changing, and Sears would soon face challenges that would test their resilience and adaptability. The beginning of the end. Even as Sears basked in the glow of its success, storm clouds were gathering on the horizon. New competitors, leaner and hungrier, were emerging, ready to challenge the retail giant's dominance. The 1970s brought a wave of discount and outlet stores with names like Walmart and Kmart popping up across the country. These newcomers offered a different kind of shopping experience. No frills, low prices, and a focus on value that resonated with budget-conscious consumers. Initially, Sears seemed unfazed. They were the undisputed kings of retail, with a long and storied history of success. But these new rivals were not to be underestimated. While Sears rested on its laurels, Walmart and Kmart were busy building efficient supply chains, mastering the art of low-cost retail, and attracting a growing customer base. The catalog disappears. But perhaps the most significant misstep in Sears' long and winding journey came in 1993, when they made the fateful decision to discontinue their iconic catalog. Now, you might be thinking, well, catalogs were becoming outdated in the age of the internet, right? But the Sears Catalog was more than just a book of products. It was a powerful distribution network, a valuable customer database, and a beloved brand, all rolled into one. Here's the real kicker. Sears killed its catalog just as a little thing called e-commerce was starting to take off. Amazon, founded just a year later in 1994, essentially took the Sears catalog model and brought it into the digital age, revolutionizing online shopping. Sears had all the ingredients to become an e-commerce powerhouse: the infrastructure, the customer base, the brand recognition, and the logistical expertise. But instead of embracing this opportunity, they essentially handed it to Jeff Bezos on a silver platter. It's a classic example of a company failing to recognize and adapt to a disruptive innovation. Sears, once a pioneer of mail-order retail, missed the chance to become a leader in the burgeoning world of online shopping. This decision would haunt Sears for years to come, as they watched Amazon grow into the e-commerce behemoth it is today. What was your favorite item to shop for at Sears? The Kmart merger. Fast forward to 2005, and Sears, facing mounting challenges and declining sales, made a desperate move: a merger with their longtime rival, Kmart. The $11 billion deal was touted as a way to create a retail powerhouse, a combined force that could take on the mighty Walmart. On paper, it seemed like a logical strategy. Two struggling giants, pooling their resources and expertise, could potentially regain their lost market share. But in reality, it was more like tying two sinking ships together and hoping for a miracle. Both Sears and Kmart were burdened by outdated business models, inefficient operations, and a failure to adapt to the changing demands of consumers. The merger did little to address these fundamental problems. Instead, it created a larger, more complex organization with even more challenges to overcome. The hoped-for synergy and revitalization never materialized. The merged company continued to struggle, losing ground to its more nimble and innovative competitors. The Kmart merger, rather than being a lifeline, became a symbol of Sears' decline, a desperate gamble that ultimately failed to save the once mighty retailer. Edward Lampert. Enter Edward Lampert, the hedge fund manager who orchestrated the Sears-Kmart merger and became the CEO of the newly formed Sears Holdings. Lampert was a Wall Street prodigy, known for his financial wizardry and his ability to spot undervalued assets. But running a sprawling retail empire? That was a different ballgame altogether. Instead of investing in the stores, improving the customer experience, and adapting to the changing retail landscape, Lampert focused on cost-cutting and asset liquidation. Imagine you're running a marathon, and instead of training, fueling your body, and strategizing, you decide to sell your running shoes and ration your water. That's essentially what Lampert did with Sears. He sold off valuable real estate, slashed inventory, and reduced staff, all in an effort to boost short-term profits. The consequences were predictable and devastating. Sears stores, once vibrant and inviting, became increasingly run down and understocked. Customer service, once a hallmark of the Sears experience, deteriorated as staff morale plummeted. Lampert's financial maneuvering might have made sense on a spreadsheet, but it failed to address the fundamental problems plaguing Sears. The company was losing its relevance, its connection with customers, and its ability to compete in a rapidly evolving retail environment. Lampert's reign as CEO would become a controversial chapter in Sears history, a period marked by declining sales, store closures, and a growing sense of despair among employees and loyal customers. Mounting losses. As the 21st century began, Sears found itself teetering on the brink. The merger with Kmart, far from being a magic bullet, had failed to deliver the hoped-for revival. Their stores, once bustling hubs of activity, were now often perceived as dated and uninviting. Their once revered brands like Craftsman and Kenmore were losing their luster as newer, more innovative competitors emerged. Perhaps most concerningly, a new generation of shoppers was coming of age with little to no emotional connection to the Sears name. They had grown up in a world of online shopping, big box stores, and instant gratification, a world where Sears seemed increasingly irrelevant. By 2010, the financial picture was bleak. Sears Holdings reported its first annual loss in decades, a stark indication that the company was in serious trouble. The once mighty retailer, a symbol of American ingenuity and consumerism, was now hemorrhaging money and losing customers at an alarming rate. The decline that had begun as a slow trickle in the 1970s had become a torrent, threatening to engulf the entire company. Sears was trapped in a downward spiral, struggling to adapt to a rapidly changing retail landscape and failing to connect with a new generation of consumers. The future looked increasingly uncertain for this once iconic brand. The question was, could Sears find a way to reinvent itself and stave off the inevitable, or was its fate sealed? The fall of an American icon. Remember those bustling Sears stores filled with the promise of the American dream? By 2017, they were becoming a rare sight, like relics of a bygone era. The retail giant that once boasted over 3,500 locations across the nation had dwindled to a mere 685 stores. It was a heartbreaking spectacle, like watching a mighty oak tree wither and shed its leaves, branch by branch. But the store closures weren't the only blows that Sears suffered. The company began selling off its most prized possessions, the iconic brands that had been woven into the fabric of American life for generations. Imagine the shock and dismay of loyal customers when Craftsman tools, the trusty companions of countless DIY enthusiasts and home workshops, were sold to Stanley Black & Decker in 2017. The Craftsman name had been synonymous with Sears for so long that it felt like a betrayal, a loss of identity. And the dismantling didn't stop there. Kenmore appliances, known for their reliability and value, were put up for sale, as were DieHard batteries, the powerhouses that had jump-started countless cars on frigid winter mornings. It was as if Sears was selling off pieces of its very soul, leaving longtime customers heartbroken and wondering what, if anything, would remain of the once proud retailer. This desperate shedding of assets was a clear sign that Sears was in dire straits, struggling to stay afloat in a retail landscape that had dramatically changed. The company that had once been a symbol of American ingenuity and consumerism was now fighting for its very survival, clinging to a fading legacy. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Bankruptcy. The final blow came in October 2018, when Sears Holdings, burdened by debt, declining sales, and a failure to adapt to the changing retail landscape, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. It was a somber day for American retail, marking the end of an era for a 126-year-old institution that had once been a cornerstone of the nation's economy and a symbol of its consumer culture. The company that had weathered 2 world wars, the Great Depression, and countless economic storms had finally succumbed. It was a stark reminder that even the most iconic and seemingly invincible brands can falter and fall in the face of relentless competition, shifting consumer preferences, and disruptive technological innovations. Sears' bankruptcy was a watershed moment, a symbol of the challenges facing traditional brick-and-mortar retailers in the age of e-commerce and the rise of online giants like Amazon. It served as a cautionary tale for other established retailers, underscoring the importance of adapting to changing times, embracing innovation, and staying relevant to a new generation of consumers. A loss of trust and optimism. The shockwaves from Sears' downfall were amplified by the perceived indifference of those at the helm. While loyal employees faced unemployment and customers mourned the loss of a beloved institution, executives seemed preoccupied with financial maneuvering rather than preserving the legacy of this American icon. It was as if they had forgotten that Sears was more than just a business. It was an integral part of the nation's social and cultural fabric. The impact reverberated through communities as well. In many towns, Sears had been the anchor store in the local mall, drawing shoppers and generating foot traffic for surrounding businesses. When Sears closed its doors, it left a gaping hole, both literally in the mall and figuratively in the community's heart. Other businesses that relied on Sears' presence often struggled to survive, leading to a domino effect of closures and a decline in the local economy. Towns that once bustled with weekend shoppers were left with empty parking lots and a sense of desolation. For many Americans, witnessing Sears' slow decline was like watching a slow-motion car crash. They could see the inevitable outcome, but felt powerless to intervene. Each announcement of store closures or brand sales was met with a mix of nostalgia, sadness, and resignation. Social media became a virtual gathering place for people to share their Sears memories, offering eulogies for a cherished institution that was fading away. The demise of Sears also marked the end of a certain kind of American optimism, the belief in a brighter future built on hard work, ingenuity, and the promise of upward mobility. The true impact. The demise of Sears wasn't merely a business failure, it was a societal shift, a seismic event that reverberated through the lives of countless Americans, leaving a void that many are still grappling with today. For generations, Sears had been more than just a store. It was a trusted companion, a symbol of quality and dependability, and a cornerstone of communities across the nation. Its decline and eventual bankruptcy represented a profound loss, a rupture in the fabric of American life. Think about the families who had relied on Sears for everything from baby clothes to lawn mowers, from tools to appliances. For them, Sears' decline wasn't just about finding new places to shop. It was about bidding farewell to a cherished part of their family history, a familiar presence that had been a constant throughout their lives. How many of us can recall those nostalgic moments spent with our parents or grandparents, poring over the thick Sears Catalog, dreaming of future purchases and planning for the year ahead. Those catalog browsing sessions weren't simply about acquiring goods. They were cherished family traditions, opportunities to connect, to share aspirations, and to build lasting memories. And let's not forget the loyal Sears employees, many of whom had dedicated decades of their lives to the company. These weren't just jobs, they were careers, a source of pride, a sense of belonging to the Sears family. The company's decline brought uncertainty, heartbreak, and, for many, unemployment. Imagine the emotional toll on those who found themselves suddenly jobless in their 50s or 60s, facing a job market that had transformed dramatically since they first donned their Sears name tags. For countless customers, the loss of Sears was deeply personal. It wasn't just a place to buy things. It was a place where life unfolded, where milestones were marked, and where memories were made. It was where you got your first bicycle, where your mom bought her first washing machine, where your dad taught you how to choose the right tools. Each store closure felt like losing a piece of your own personal history, a tangible reminder of time's relentless march. Closed, 20 forgotten mall stores that no longer exist. Remember the excitement of weekend mall trips, the bustling food court, the arcade buzz, and your favorite shops. But what happened to those iconic retailers that made malls magical? Join us for a nostalgic journey as we uncover the stories behind the retail giants that once ruled the scene but have now vanished. Merry-Go-Round. Merry-Go-Round, originating as a single boutique in Atlanta, experienced remarkable growth in the 1970s and 80s, capitalizing on the burgeoning mall culture and catering to the ever-evolving fashion trends of teenage girls and young women. By the 1990s, the brand had exploded to an impressive 1,500 stores nationwide, a testament to its popularity and successful market positioning. However, this rapid expansion proved to be a double-edged sword. The company's aggressive growth strategy led to oversaturation of the market and diluted the brand's identity. The acquisition of Chess King, a men's retailer, in 1993 further complicated matters. Instead of creating synergy and expanding market reach, the acquisition strained Merry-Go-Round's resources and diverted attention from its core demographic. This strategic misstep, coupled with the existing challenges of overexpansion, proved to be a fatal blow. In 1994, Merry-Go-Round filed for bankruptcy, and within months, all its stores were shuttered, marking one of the largest retail bankruptcies in history. Aladdin's Castle. In contrast, Aladdin's Castle represents a different facet of mall culture: entertainment. Emerging in the early 1970s, Aladdin's Castle capitalized on the burgeoning video game craze, becoming synonymous with mall arcades. Fueled by iconic games like Space Invaders, Pac-Man, and Donkey Kong, Aladdin's Castle experienced explosive growth, expanding from 20 locations in 1974 to over 200 by 1980, and reaching a peak of 360 locations by the late 1980s. However, the rise of home consoles dealt a significant blow to the arcade industry, leading to a decline in mall arcade traffic and the eventual closure of most Aladdin's Castle locations after its acquisition by Namco in the late 1990s. The intertwined stories of Tom McCann and Aladdin's Castle highlight the dynamic nature of mall-based retail and entertainment. Tom McCann's decline reflects the challenges faced by traditional retailers in adapting to changing market forces, while Aladdin's Castle's fate underscores the impact of technological disruption on entertainment trends. Sears. Sears's decline represents a significant shift in the retail landscape, highlighting the impact of evolving consumer preferences, increased competition, and the challenges of adapting to a changing market. For much of the 20th century, Sears reigned supreme as the dominant force in American retail. Its vast network of stores, including a substantial presence as anchor stores and shopping malls, made it a ubiquitous part of the consumer experience. With over 3,500 locations at its peak, Sears offered a comprehensive range of products, from appliances and tools to clothing and home goods, catering to a broad customer base and becoming an integral part of American consumer culture. However, the latter part of the 20th century saw the emergence of big-box retailers like Walmart and Target, offering competitive pricing and a wider selection of merchandise. This increased competition, coupled with the rise of e-commerce and the gradual decline of shopping malls, began to erode Sears's market share and weaken its once unshakable position. Over the past 3 decades, Sears has slowly but steadily retreated from the retail landscape. Its once ubiquitous presence in shopping malls has diminished, with store closures becoming increasingly common. Please comment 1 to let me know you'll be watching this video until the end. Sam Goody. Sam Goody and the Limited represent distinct yet interconnected narratives of retail evolution, reflecting the impact of changing consumer preferences, market competition, and the challenges of adapting to new eras. Sam Goody, originating in 1940s New York City, built its reputation on a vast selection of music and a customer-centric approach, even offering free turntables to high-spending customers. This personalized service and deep product knowledge became hallmarks of the Sam Goody experience as the brand expanded into malls nationwide. However, the merger with Musicland in 1978 and subsequent acquisition by Best Buy in 2000 signaled a shift in the brand's trajectory. Unable to compete effectively with the rise of digital music and online retailers, Sam Goody stores were eventually converted to FYE, marking the end of an era for the once dominant music retailer. The Limited. The Limited, founded in 1963 by Les Wexner, charted a different course, capitalizing on the growing demand for specialized women's apparel. The brand's rapid expansion and innovative approach led to the creation of other successful retail concepts like Express and Structure, and strategic acquisitions of established brands like Victoria's Secret, Abercrombie & Fitch, and Lerner, New York. At its peak, the Limited operated over 750 locations, solidifying its position as a major player in the fashion industry. However, the emergence of fast fashion retailers like Old Navy, Forever 21, and H&M, offering trendier styles at more affordable prices, posed a significant challenge. The Limited struggled to compete with these newer entrants, leading to rapid store closures and ultimately, the cessation of all retail operations by 2017. Toys R Us. Founded in Maryland in 1957, the brand cleverly capitalized on the burgeoning popularity of toys tied to emerging pop culture phenomena. From Star Wars action figures to the Cabbage Patch Kids craze, and the explosion of video game consoles like Atari and Nintendo, Toys R Us became the go-to destination for children and collectors alike. For decades, they held a near monopoly on the toy market, their massive warehouse-style stores offering an unparalleled selection and a sense of childlike wonder. However, the rise of mass retailers like Walmart and Target, with their competitive pricing and diversified product offerings, began to erode Toys R Us's market share. The emergence of e-commerce giants like Amazon further intensified the competition, offering consumers the convenience of online shopping and access to an even wider selection of toys at often lower prices. By 2018, burdened by significant debt and struggling to compete in the evolving retail landscape, Toys R Us filed for bankruptcy. The subsequent closure of nearly 750 stores across the country left a void in the toy market and a sense of loss for many who cherished the brand. The demise of Toys R Us serves as a stark reminder of the disruptive forces at play in the retail industry. It highlights the critical importance of adapting to changing consumer behavior, embracing new technologies, and innovating to remain competitive. Do you have any crazy or funny memories from these stores? Share your stories below. Beginnings. Beginnings, affectionately known as the Florida Store, holds a special place in the hearts of many Floridians, representing a legacy of retail excellence and a deep connection to the state's identity. Established in Miami in 1898, Beginnings cultivated a unique brand identity, embracing Florida's tropical charm with its distinctive pastel color palette and iconic palm tree decor. As the store expanded throughout the state, it became synonymous with quality, style, and a distinctly Floridian shopping experience. The acquisition of Beginnings by Federated Department Stores in the 1950s, the company that would eventually own Macy's, marked a significant turning point. This corporate restructuring laid the groundwork for Beginnings' continued expansion into shopping malls throughout the latter half of the 20th century, solidifying its position as a dominant force in Florida's retail landscape. However, the late 1990s and early 2000s saw a wave of consolidation in the department store industry, leading to difficult decisions regarding brand identity and market positioning. In 2004, Federated Department Stores made the strategic decision to rebrand all Beginnings locations as Macy's. This transition included a brief one-year period where stores operated under the dual name Beginnings Macy's, before the Beginnings name was ultimately retired. Limited 2. Created by the Limited, in 1987, the brand initially targeted a broad audience, offering clothing and accessories for infants, toddlers, and young girls. Many of its products mirrored the styles found in its parent company's adult-oriented stores, appealing to parents who sought to dress their children in similar fashions. Limited 2 experienced rapid growth throughout the 1990s, expanding from just 2 initial stores to nearly 300 locations nationwide. Recognizing a growing market segment, the brand strategically shifted its focus exclusively towards preteens, recognizing the unique needs and desires of this demographic. This strategic repositioning proved highly successful, further accelerating the brand's growth. By 2008, Limited 2 boasted over 600 stores, solidifying its position as a leading retailer for preteen fashion. However, that same year marked another significant shift in the brand's trajectory. Recognizing the potential of its newer brand, Justice, which had been launched a few years earlier, the Limited made the decision to rebrand all Limited 2 locations as Justice. This move streamlined the company's portfolio and allowed it to focus its resources on a single, unified brand targeting the preteen market. Dress Barn. Founded in Stamford, Connecticut in 1962, Dress Barn initially catered to the growing number of women entering the workforce, providing affordable and practical dresses and office attire. As shopping malls proliferated across the country, Dress Barn strategically expanded its footprint, establishing a significant presence in these retail hubs and becoming a familiar sight for mall shoppers. The brand's heyday coincided with the 1980s and 1990s, a period of economic growth and strong consumer spending. At its peak, Dress Barn operated a chain of 650 stores, reflecting its widespread appeal and successful market positioning. However, the retail landscape began to shift dramatically as the 21st century dawned. Increased competition from fast fashion retailers, the rise of e-commerce, and changing consumer preferences contributed to declining sales and financial struggles for Dress Barn. Its parent company, Ascena Retail Group, faced mounting pressures to restructure its business and improve profitability. Ultimately, the decision was made to close all Dress Barn locations in 2019, marking the end of an era for the once thriving women's clothing retailer. KB Toys. KB Toys and Fellines, while operating in different retail segments, both offer compelling narratives of adaptation, evolution, and the challenges of navigating a changing competitive landscape. KB Toys, founded in 1922 by the Kaufman brothers, began as a candy store in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. The company's foray into the toy market began in the 1940s with the acquisition of a wholesale toy company, gradually integrating toys into its product offerings. The pivotal moment came in 1973, when KB Toys fully embraced the toy market, abandoning its candy store roots and expanding into shopping malls across the country. This strategic shift coincided with a booming period for toy retailers, allowing KB Toys to thrive and become a familiar destination for children and families. However, increased competition and changing market dynamics in the 1990s led to store closures and financial difficulties, culminating in bankruptcy and the sale of the KB Toys brand to Toys R Us in 2008. Filene's Basement. Filene's, established in Boston in the 1880s, followed a different trajectory, becoming a well-known department store throughout the Northeast, with a significant presence in shopping malls. The creation of Filene's Basement, a discount offshoot, further expanded the brand's reach and catered to a wider customer base. At their peak, Filene's and Filene's Basement operated around 75 locations combined. However, as with many traditional department stores, Filene's faced increasing competition from specialty retailers and evolving consumer preferences. The acquisition of Filene's by Macy's in 2005 led to the conversion of most Filene's locations, marking the end of an era for the regional department store chain. Wicks and Sticks. Wicks and Sticks and Walden Books, while operating in distinct product categories, both offer compelling examples of brands grappling with changing consumer preferences and the challenges of adapting to evolving retail landscapes. Wicks and Sticks, established in 1968, carved a niche for itself, specializing in candles, experiencing significant growth with over 300 locations, many of which were franchised within shopping malls by 1988. In an attempt to diversify its offerings and bolster sales, the company expanded its product line to include Christmas ornaments and collectibles. However, these efforts proved insufficient to counteract declining sales, ultimately leading to bankruptcy in 2006 and the closure of all remaining locations by 2010. This trajectory highlights the challenges of maintaining market share in a competitive retail environment and the difficulties of adapting to shifting consumer demands. Walden Books. Walden Books, founded in 1933 as the Walden Book Company, established itself as a prominent bookstore chain, with its first standalone store opening in 1958, Pittsburgh in 1962. The acquisition by Kmart in 1984 fueled further expansion, with Walden Books reaching over 1,200 stores, many located within shopping malls. However, the merger with Borders in 1994 marked a turning point. Facing increasing competition from larger bookstore chains and the rise of online booksellers, Borders began phasing out the Walden Books brand in 2004, ultimately leading to the complete disappearance of the chain by 2011. Circus World. Originally founded in 1964 as Child World, the toy store underwent a significant transformation in 1970 when it was sold and rebranded as Circus World. Under this new banner, the company expanded rapidly, reaching 330 locations, capitalizing on the growing demand for toys and the burgeoning popularity of shopping malls. During the 1980s, Circus World came under the ownership of the drugstore chain Rite Aid, a seemingly unusual pairing that reflected the diversification strategies of the time. However, this ownership proved to be a transitional phase. In 1990, Circus World was acquired by KB Toys, a major player in the toy retail market. This acquisition led to the conversion of most Circus World locations into KB Toys stores, streamlining the brand portfolio under a single established name. Interestingly, a few locations retained the Circus World name until 1996, a lingering reminder of the brand's independent history. County Seat. Founded in 1973, County Seat quickly gained traction as a denim-focused clothing store, capitalizing on the enduring popularity of jeans. Throughout the 1980s, the brand experienced significant growth, expanding to nearly 500 stores, with the vast majority located within shopping malls. County Seat became synonymous with denim, establishing itself as the go-to destination for coveted brands like Levi's, attracting a loyal customer base seeking the latest styles and trends in jeanswear. However, the retail environment became increasingly challenging in the 1990s. Shifting fashion trends, increased competition from other clothing retailers, and changing consumer preferences contributed to financial difficulties for County Seat. In 1996, the company filed for bankruptcy, signaling the beginning of its decline. An attempt by the popular 1990s retailer Wet Seal to acquire County Seat out of bankruptcy was rejected, further complicating the company's efforts to restructure and regain its footing. The subsequent closure of stores and a second bankruptcy filing in 1999 ultimately led to the demise of the County Seat brand. Brookstone. Launched in 1965 with a mere $500 investment, Brookstone initially operated as a catalog company, advertising its unique products and tools in publications like Popular Mechanics magazine. This direct-to-consumer approach proved successful, enabling the company to expand into brick-and-mortar stores. By the 1980s, under the ownership of Quaker Oats, Brookstone had established a strong presence in shopping malls, which became its primary retail channel. The brand further expanded its reach through strategically placed kiosks within malls, offering a curated selection of its most popular items. As technology advanced, Brookstone shifted its focus from traditional tools to innovative tech products and gadgets, capitalizing on the growing consumer demand for cutting-edge electronics. By the late 1990s, the company boasted 150 stores across 32 states, over 100 kiosks, and a burgeoning online operation, demonstrating its omni-channel approach to retail. However, the dawn of the new century brought new challenges. Increased competition, changing consumer preferences, and mounting debt led to declining sales and financial instability. Brookstone filed for bankruptcy in 2014, and a subsequent bankruptcy in 2018 resulted in the closure of all its mall locations. What's the one store you wish would make a comeback in malls today? Let me know in the comments. Lerner, New York. Founded by Samuel Lerner in 1918, the original Lerner shops strategically positioned themselves within the burgeoning suburban shopping malls of mid-20th century America. This proved to be a highly successful strategy, enabling the brand to expand rapidly, reaching 796 locations by 1985. This growth reflected the brand's appeal to a broad customer base seeking affordable and fashionable apparel. The acquisition of Lerner shops by The Limited in the late 1980s marked a pivotal moment in the brand's history. The subsequent name change to Lerner, New York in 1992 reflected an attempt to reposition the brand and update its image. However, this proved to be a transitional phase. Just a few years later, in the mid-1990s, the brand underwent another transformation, re-emerging as New York & Company. This renaming signaled a more significant shift in brand identity, reflecting a focus on contemporary fashion and a connection to the vibrant energy of New York City. Remarkably, New York & Company continues to operate in malls today, demonstrating the success of this strategic rebranding and the brand's ability to adapt to evolving consumer preferences and market trends. Thom McAn. Tom McCann and Aladdin's Castle offer contrasting yet interconnected narratives of retail evolution, reflecting the impact of changing consumer habits and technological advancements. Tom McCann, established in 1922, rose to prominence as a leading shoe brand. Its widespread presence in malls solidified after its acquisition by Melville Corporation in 1952. By the 1960s, Tom McCann boasted over 1,000 locations, becoming a familiar and trusted source for affordable footwear. However, changing market dynamics and increased competition led to a decline in the 1990s, culminating in the closure of all retail locations by 1996. While the brand persists through sales in select retailers like Kmart and Sears, its once ubiquitous mall presence has vanished, a testament to the evolving retail landscape. The sharper image. Established in 1977, the sharper image quickly became a fixture in shopping malls, offering a curated selection of high-tech gadgets, massage chairs, and other unique products that captured the imagination of consumers. The stores often resembled a futuristic playground filled with intriguing and often expensive items that appealed to a sense of novelty and luxury. At its peak, the sharper image operated 187 stores across 38 states, establishing a strong retail presence and cultivating a brand image synonymous with innovation and cutting-edge technology. However, the company's fortunes took a dramatic turn with the controversy surrounding its Ionic Breeze air purifier. Customer lawsuits alleging misleading claims about the product's effectiveness severely damaged the sharper image's reputation and eroded consumer confidence. This controversy triggered a downward spiral, with the company's stock price plummeting and its financial stability jeopardized. Despite attempts to recover from the fallout of the Ionic Breeze debacle, the sharper image struggled to regain its footing. Mounting financial pressures and declining sales ultimately led to bankruptcy and the closure of all its stores in 2008. Florsheim Shoes. Florsheim Shoes, a name that resonates with classic style and quality craftsmanship. Founded in 1892 in Chicago, Florsheim quickly built a reputation for its meticulously crafted footwear, becoming a staple in the wardrobes of discerning men across the country. As shopping malls proliferated across America, Florsheim strategically positioned itself within these retail hubs, establishing a widespread presence and becoming synonymous with mall shopping for many. Their expansion included branching into women's footwear, further broadening their appeal and market reach. By the 1980s, they even ventured into the burgeoning athletic shoe market, demonstrating an adaptability and willingness to embrace evolving consumer trends. This period marked a peak for Florsheim, with their stores a familiar sight in malls nationwide. However, the retail landscape began to shift dramatically in the late 20th century. The rise of big-box retailers and discount shoe chains intensified competition, putting pressure on traditional shoe stores like Florsheim. The emergence of e-commerce further disrupted the industry, offering consumers unparalleled convenience and access to a wider range of brands and styles. While the Florsheim brand persists today, available through various retail channels and online platforms, its presence within malls has faded. Esprit. From its humble beginnings as a clothing line sold out of a VW bus in San Francisco, Esprit's vibrant and distinctive style captured the spirit of the 1980s. Its bold designs and colorful aesthetic resonated with consumers, propelling the brand to rapid growth and establishing it as a prominent fixture in shopping malls across the country. The ubiquitous Esprit logo became a symbol of youthful energy and contemporary fashion. However, the very elements that propelled Esprit's success in the 80s ultimately contributed to its decline in the following decade. The brand's distinct aesthetic, so in tune with the trends of the 80s, failed to adapt to the shifting fashion landscape of the 90s. A confluence of factors, including misaligned marketing strategies, pricing inconsistencies, and a perceived disconnect with evolving consumer preferences, contributed to a gradual erosion of the brand's appeal. Despite attempts to revitalize its image and regain market share, Esprit struggled to recapture its former glory. By 2011, facing significant financial losses, the company made the difficult decision to close all of its North American stores. Today, Esprit operates primarily in Europe and Asia, a mere shadow of the retail giant it once was. Musicland. Starting as a regional chain in Minneapolis in 1955, Musicland held a significant presence in many malls, offering a haven for music lovers seeking vinyl records, cassette tapes, and later, CDs. The 1978 merger with Sam Goody marked a turning point, leading to the conversion of many Musicland stores. However, the Musicland brand persisted in some locations, coexisting with its sister brand, Sam Goody, well into the late 1990s. This period witnessed the peak of physical music sales, with both brands thriving in the mall environment. However, the acquisition of the Musicland Group, which included Sam Goody, by Best Buy in the early 2000s, proved to be a harbinger of change. The digital revolution was rapidly transforming the music industry, with the rise of online music downloads and streaming services like Napster and iTunes fundamentally altering how consumers accessed and consumed music. This shift dealt a significant blow to traditional brick-and-mortar music retailers like Musicland and Sam Goody. Faced with declining sales and mounting losses, Best Buy struggled to adapt its newly acquired music retail arm to the changing landscape. The once thriving Musicland brand faded away, while Sam Goody eventually morphed into FYE, for your entertainment, shifting its focus towards movies, pop culture, merchandise, and other entertainment offerings to survive in the digital age. Glamour shots. Emerging in the 1980s, glamour shots captured the zeitgeist of the era with its distinctive aesthetic of big hair, dramatic makeup, and stylized poses. These mall-based studios offered a unique experience, transforming everyday women, teenagers, and even moms into glamorous versions of themselves. The resulting photographs, often featuring white satin gloves, heavy eyeshadow, and contemplative expressions, became iconic symbols of the decade. At its peak in the mid-1990s, Glamour Shots boasted an impressive 350 locations, reflecting its widespread popularity and the strong demand for its services. However, as the retail landscape began to shift, with malls facing increasing competition from other retail formats and the rise of e-commerce, Glamour Shots began to lose its footing. The highly stylized aesthetic, once so fashionable, became increasingly dated, failing to resonate with evolving tastes and preferences. This stylistic inflexibility, coupled with the decline of mall traffic, contributed to the gradual closure of Glamour Shots locations across the country. Today, remarkably, only one mall-based Glamour Shots studio remains, located in New Jersey, serving as a nostalgic reminder of the brand's heyday and the unique cultural phenomenon it represented. Wet Seal. Founded in California in the 1960s, the company adopted the memorable, albeit unusual name, Wet Seal, in 1990, a moniker inspired by a model in a swimsuit. This quirky name recognition, coupled with its trendy apparel, resonated with the teen demographic, propelling Wet Seal to significant success throughout the 1990s. Capitalizing on this momentum, the brand sought to expand its reach and diversify its offerings, launching the new retail concept, Arden B. Together, Wet Seal and Arden B grew to encompass over 500 locations, solidifying their presence in the mall landscape and establishing a strong foothold in the teen fashion market. However, the early 2000s brought new challenges in the form of fierce competition from fast fashion retailers like Forever 21. Wet Seals struggled to keep pace with Forever 21's aggressive pricing and rapidly changing styles, losing market share and facing declining sales. By 2015, the financial pressures proved insurmountable, forcing Wet Seal to file for bankruptcy and close over 300 locations. The brand clung to a dwindling number of stores until 2017, finally transitioning to an exclusively online presence. Did we miss any of your favorite Sears memories? We'd love to hear them in the comments below. If this trip down retail memory lane brought back some great moments, don't forget to subscribe and share the video with fellow nostalgia lovers. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.